Hello, everyone, and welcome. The current COVID-19 crisis has put tremendous pressure on our healthcare system. In particular, there's a severe shortage of PPE, such as masks and respirators. Every day in the news, we are hearing how our healthcare professionals, such as doctors and nurses, are having to stretch the use of every single mask and every single respirator that they have in the hospital so that they don't run out of them. In some cases, they are having to reuse these masks and respirators. And that's clearly a high-risk activity because these masks and respirators are specifically designed and approved for single use only. Now, we all know that many manufacturers are rushing to improve and increase their production capacity, but we are way behind the demand. So in the meantime, FDA has taken some emergency actions, and we're going to talk about that in this video. FDA has used the emergency use authorization process to authorize some decontamination systems for N95 respirators. And the idea here is to be able to reuse these respirators in a safer way. The technology has been around for many years and routinely used in hospital environment for sterilization. It uses vapor phase hydrogen peroxide that has been known to be very effective. However, it has not been proven quantitatively yet against the SARS-CoV-2 virus, which causes the COVID-19 disease. So as a result, we know it's going to work, but FDA is calling it decontamination to imply that there is still some residual risk and it's not the same as sterilization. So in this video, we're going to talk about the 4 systems that have been authorized so far and present some key facts about them. The first system that was authorized came out from Battelle, and it was authorized on March 29th of this year. Next came the STERIS system, April 9th, ASP on April 11th, and the Stryker system on April 15th, very recent. The STERIS, ASP, and Stryker systems are routinely used in hospitals, and they are well-known names. People know how to use them. So they are small scale, but people are familiar with them. So let's look at a comparative view of some key facts. The Battelle CCDS system uses vapor phase hydrogen peroxide. It's authorized to load up to 10,000 respirators per cycle. But there's a limit on the number of cycles each individual respirator is allowed to go through, and that's at 20 for this system. The STERIS system uses vapor phase hydrogen peroxide also. However, only the non-lumen cycle is authorized for N95 decontamination. Maximum of 10 respirators per cycle and a max of 10 cycles per respirators. ASP steroid systems use vapor phase hydrogen peroxide plasma, maximum of 10 respirators per cycle, and 2 cycles max per respirator. A Stryker system uses vapor phase hydrogen peroxide and ozone, max of 20 respirators per cycle, and 2 cycles per respirator. So there is a variety of options. It looks like the Battelle system can be deployed at mass scale, but it's not available in the hospitals. So respirators have to be sent somewhere else. There's a chain of custody requirement, which can be pretty cumbersome from a paperwork perspective, but it's very important. The other 3 systems are in the hospitals, very well known and used routinely, but they are small scale. So they will have to be used in a smaller fashion, and not many respirators can be decontaminated at one time. So these are pros and cons. Now, as I mentioned, the technology has not been quantitatively proven against the SARS coronavirus. There is some residual risk on a personal level, plus it uses hydrogen peroxide, and we know residual hydrogen peroxide can also have problems. So there are risks on the individual healthcare personnel level, but what I'm more worried about is the process itself, the risks in chain of custody, keeping track of how many cycles each respirator has gone through, making sure soiled and damaged respirators are not decontaminated, or damaged respirators after decontamination are not used. So this requires a lot of attention and focus from the healthcare personnel in the hospital, which they are probably already overstressed. There's a lot of work going on, a lot of stress. So many opportunities for errors. People don't make mistakes on purpose, but things can go wrong. And I think that's the kind of risk that I'm more worried about at this point of time. Hopefully, people are going to be able to manage that. So certainly, given the circumstances that we don't have a supply of fresh respirators, the benefit is there, because compared to using the same respirator, overusing it, reusing it, the risk is much lower. So benefit risk is favorable under these circumstances. However, when the production capacity catches up and there's a fresh supply of masks and respirators, this system should not be used. Although the authorization will continue until the end of the emergency. So people should be mindful of how to use it. There's a lot happening here. FDA is coming out with emergency use authorizations for many different medical devices. It's a very rapid pace. And I'm planning to produce these overview videos for you to keep informed, and I'll do it as frequently as I can. I've already done a couple. The best way to keep in touch with all these updates is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can go here. I will post a link with this particular post, so you can click on it and just subscribe to my channel. There's a lot of other good stuff out there, and you can just subscribe to this channel to stay current, not only with what's going on right now, but in general, different topics of interest on medical devices.